power, fame, and money. That's what fighting at the highest level is supposed to bring, right? And for some UFC fighters, it definitely has. If a fighter starts to become a star, either due to knockouts, trash talk, or just raw charisma, the UFC slaps them on every poster, pumps the pay-per-view machine, and the money starts flowing in. And soon enough, they start buying and showing off all kinds of new toys. But before we get to the Lambos, yachts, and custom thrones, let's talk about where all that money comes from. Over the years, the UFC has become a financial juggernaut, a media giant. The UFC is stupid rich. In 2024, the UFC generated approximately $1.406 billion in revenue, marking an increase from $1.292 billion in 2023. The lion's share of the UFC's income stems from media rights and content deals, amounting to $879 million in 2024. The rest comes from ticket sales, live events, sponsorships, merch, and so on. At the helm of this empire is Dana White, the UFC's president. Since acquiring the UFC in 2001 for a mere $2 million alongside the Fertitta brothers, White has been the promotional powerhouse of the UFC. If there ever were a pound-for-pound ranking for the best combat sports promoters, he'd for sure hold the #1 spot. His net worth is floating around the $500 million mark, with an annual salary that clocks in at $20 million. But that's just the surface. Dana cashed in big during the UFC's $4 billion sale to WME-IMG in 2016. Add real estate, endorsements, and his own ventures to the side, and you're looking at one of the richest men in combat sports. He spends like it too, especially when it comes to cars. A 1971 Plymouth Barracuda, a Ferrari Testarossa, a Ferrari F430, a Lamborghini Aventador, and a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Quite a lot of expensive toys. Then there's the luxury SUV lineup: Range Rover, Cadillac Escalade ESV, a special edition Land Rover Defender V8, and a BMW gifted in 2023 by Steve Wilduit and Taylor Lewin. As for his Vegas mansion, bought for $1.65 million, now reportedly worth close to $50 million, a personal fortress for the boss of the fight game. Only a small percentage of that would go to the fighters, so they wouldn't have to bartend or work construction in between fights. Speaking of fighters, there are some that beat the system and got filthy rich, and no one did that better than Conor McGregor. He managed to squeeze every single drop of the amount of money a fighter can make, and then some. He topped the 2021 Forbes list of the world's highest paid athletes with a total income of $180 million, most of which came from sponsorships and endorsements. In 2019, McGregor purchased a sprawling mansion in Ireland for around £2 million from the son of the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Ireland. Then in 2018, he acquired a lavish house in Marbella, Spain. And you probably already know he has a thing for cars. A Rolls-Royce Ghost, Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead Coupe, Lamborghini Aventador Roadster, and a BMW i8 are just some of the toys he has in his garage. In December 2024, he added a Mansory Rolls-Royce Dawn with a bright orange interior to his impressive repertoire, worth more than £1 million. He also owns a Lamborghini-designed yacht, one of only 63 manufactured, valued at approximately £2.7 million. Previously, he owned the Proper 12 whiskey brand, which he sold for $600 million. Then there's his pub in Dublin, the Black Forge Inn, his fashion line August McGregor, and his forged Irish Stout project. He also probably owns about half a shipping container worth of sugar, but you don't really disclose that in an income statement. Anyways, let's talk about something, or better yet, someone else who is the exact opposite of McGregor. A very different kind of king, one who doesn't scream about his bank balance, doesn't flaunt a garage full of exotic cars, and still somehow projects more power than anyone in the room. Khabib, the Eagle. The undefeated lightweight legend walked away from the game with a perfect 29-0 record, and stepped into a business world that welcomed him with open arms. Khabib may not post flashy wristwatches or private jets on Instagram, but don't get it twisted, the man is loaded, or rather he was, but on that a bit later. His estimated net worth is hovering around $40 million. And unlike Conor's wealth, most of his comes from fighting, with his most significant payday being $6,877,500 for his fight against Justin Gaethje at UFC 254. In total, his fight purses amount to approximately $21,720,200. So what does the Eagle spend his money on? Not much, since it's not the way he was raised, nor is it really in his culture. But no man, no matter how dedicated, cannot fall into the temptation of buying a couple of hundred horsepower once he comes into money. And Khabib is no different. Among some of his cars, there are the Mercedes-Benz W124 300e, a Ferrari California, a BMW 6 Series, and a Mercedes AMG GT. The rest of his money goes to his Eagle FC fighting promotion, charities, donations, and helping out fellow Dagestani fighters. However, in 2024, Khabib faced a significant financial hurdle when Russian tax authorities alleged that he owed approximately $3.4 million in unpaid taxes. He of course paid it in full, but not before the drug menace himself managed to fire off a few shots by saying he'll buy off his house from the government once they seize it. Oh well, let's move on to another high roller in the UFC, Sean O'Malley. The Sugar Show is quite an expensive one. After becoming champ, O'Malley dropped $200,000 on a Richard Mille watch just because he felt like it. Add that to an iced out AP, an orange custom Rolex, a clean $15,000 humble Rolex, and it's clear. His wrist game's got more ice than a Canadian winter. He also owns chains in every color, stacked like a Skittles pack. Pink, green, yellow, blue, red, multicolored. He's got a massive Sugar pendant, a Happy Dad chain, and a collection he estimates costs around over $300,000. And then there's his ride, a $250K pink Lamborghini Huracan Evo with green wheels, which looks horrible, but fits O'Malley's whole vibe perfectly. Another striking wunderkind we have to cover is Israel Adesanya. The man owns a McLaren 720S Spider, pushing out 710 horsepower with a price tag north of $300,000. And of course, as an anime weeb would, he calls it Kurama. His wardrobe's full with high-end pieces, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Off-White. He's not shopping at the mall, he's collecting statements. He's also been seen rocking iced-out watches like his 200K presidential Rolex, designer bags, and limited edition sneakers that most hypebeasts would sell a kidney for. His anime collection also goes well into the several tens of thousands range. Now let's look at a newcomer to the UFC. A newcomer who already managed to knock out some of our favorite fighters. Ilia Topuria has an estimated net worth of around $2 million as of 2024. A good net worth, but not huge. So it might shock you that he says he spends over $50,000 a month just to live comfortably. That's not including fight camps, investments, or business expenses. That's his personal burn rate. And according to him, it's money well spent. But possibly the most expensive thing he owns would be his high-tech gym.
I have my boxing training, the grappling, the wrestling. I surround myself with great professionals that are part of my team.
It looks like the Ivan Drago gym in Rocky IV. Then there's Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou's journey from the sand mines of Cameroon to the top of combat sports is nothing short of cinematic. And when one manages to accomplish everything, coming from nothing, then buying an expensive toy or two is a must. Topping the list is his Rolls-Royce Phantom 7, a 420,000-pound monument to success. Right behind it is a Rolls-Royce Ghost, coming in at 270,000 pounds. But when the heavyweight champ wants speed to match his punching power, he hits the streets in the Ferrari 488 GTB, worth around 180,000 pounds. And rounding things out, there's the Mercedes-Benz G-Class, aka the G-Wagon. Rugged, boxy, unstoppable. At 130,000 pounds, it's part tank, part trophy. And let's end it with one of the legends of the UFC, Cowboy Cerrone. Donald Cowboy Cerrone's BMF Ranch in Edgewood, New Mexico is one of the best playgrounds for men anyone has ever seen. It's a sprawling 40-acre compound full of cars, quads, guns, snowmobiles, a gym, and much more. Of course, it wouldn't be a ranch without stables for horses. expensive horses. And his gun collection, well, we can't be sure, but it must be close to 6 digits for sure. Oh, if only we could take a look. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.